Well, hello there. Welcome to Violent and Disturbing Images. I'm Robin and Andrew Jack without a C, and I think we're finishing Silent Hill today. Like all of it, like so much of it. Hi, Lindsay. And what perfect timing, because even Sabrina's here. We have started, and we already have cats ruining everything. So, let's just go ahead and just start hauling ass. Because we have seen this a minimum of 4 times now. And we don't need. We don't need. We are a post-need micro society here, and we are ready to party. So, how's everybody doing? I am doing very tired. I'm so rattled from the glasses guy clocking me as a Kojima fucker. I mean, listen. We know our own kind, so when somebody tries to even look at some Del Rey's with even moderate interest, we just know. Sorry it had to be like this. You were absolutely eyeballed. You were clocked on sight. That dude had a lens into your soul. There is no positive framing for this. It's like, you are to blame for these optics. How many more eye puns can I make here? I think that was my limit. I think I got a good string of them. Good way to start the day. So real quick, we're going to avoid the monkey men. Now, since I think we last played, we got to see that Silent Hill announcement. Yeah, see what you're doing. Thank you. Looking at Kojima, I think they may literally be the same frames. Yeah. I think you should do it. I think if I end up getting glasses, I'll be doing it too. My vision is great, but like, what if? What if I did that to myself? For reasons. So we've had the Silent Hill transmission, and we've had the Resident Evil reveals today, which I don't know about y'all. I don't think it's even close that Capcom knocked it out of the park to the point that they even made their multiplayer game Reverse look even moderately interesting. Get them for fashion reasons. I listen. I could kill some people with some glasses. Just like on an aesthetic level, I could pull that off. Oh, thank you. I would love to be the reason you buy some Kojima glasses. Now, in this playthrough, we do not have to get the juice on the floor. And we do not have to throw it on the cop. In fact, if we did that, that would make things worse for us. So we are not going to help the cop so that we can get the good ending that we want. And we are instead just going to move it. We are going to see if we can pick up some health items, because normally we pick up the bottle here and then we go to the director's office to scoop up the juice. You would be an excellent Mega Nickel. I want this for me. Some decorative lenses. Just good shit all around. And Lark comes in. Hi, Lark. I feel like I know what she's gonna say, and she might be right. Oops. I appreciate that. I'm glad that's still a fond memory for you. I will get my hair did up right, colored and cut properly, get myself a nice suit. God, there will be a day when I cam instead of VTube. And so I hope I create problems. That would be really, like, as somebody with a low self-esteem about their outward appearance, I would love if I could have that effect on people again. That would be so nice. That's really the, like, trans agenda. Like, I don't know if anyone knows this. I'm sorry to spread the secrets of the trans community, which is a monolith. We all think exactly the same, and I'm just revealing the secrets, thus betraying everything. That we are all just trying to be a new kind of hot that we weren't before, so that we can create problems for people. And make them question their gender and turn them trans. Sorry, that's how it is, and I wish to be a cog in this terrible and sexy machine. And anyone who would deny me this is transphobic. A good start to the day. Okay, so we are actually playing a video game. Born to see. World is a fuck. 6,400,837 individual tests of better or worse. Number 1 or number 2. I need you to lay down. Thank you. Dead. Hey guys, dead cone receptors. Oh god. Okay, so I'm still like waiting on the start of some announcements, but I know that at a certain point I am going to be on cam playing Fallout New Vegas just for this. Just to satisfy the necessary conditions to be a trans woman gamer. I have to actually finish Fallout New Vegas or I won't actually be considered a real trans person. I'm also thinking of finally getting into speedrunning. So be on the lookout for my speedrun of Gex 1. It will be terrible. I will not break any records, but I will look great doing it. And as we have stated, it's all about optics. Like, sorry, that's just how it do. Okay, so we're grabbing this, and we're moving over here, and we're grabbing all of this blood. Anything else? Handgun ammo, but we have a Konami designed light gun, and therefore we have no need for anything. Why is Fallout New Vegas the trans game? I've always been kind of confused by that. I think it's just like, I think it's one of those games that just happened to get lumped into the cultural zeitgeist of like, games as art, the rise of speedrunning, the revisit of New Vegas as the most recent good Fallout. And so it just, like, it devolves into this, like, terrible mess of, like, a whole bunch of things just factoring in at exactly the right point. And, like, really, I think it's just that it's such a good game that has so many devotees for so long that inevitably, some of these dudes are not going to have remain dudes. Yeah, sounds about right. Right, so we need to go to the first floor, pick up some stuff. It's like, I think about Fallout New Vegas, and I think about the reasons why I can't get into it. And it's not even because I think it's a bad game. I don't think that at all. I think it's a very buggy game, but, like, who gives a shit? Clearly not the fans of Fallout New Vegas, who have been patching the crap out of that game for literal years. Okay, we don't need to go back down there yet. We need to go into the director's office. We need to pick up a plate and maybe save our game. But, like, one of the reasons why it's so good is also one of the reasons why I have trouble with it, is that it's so weirdly open-ended and gives you so many options and is so freeform that the very idea of agency itself is intensely attractive. Like, I don't know how else to put it other than you just get dropped in as just this rando, and you got to figure out what your story in that is going to entail. And you actually get to be a neutral party, and you get to kind of swim in the sauce. I assumed it happened to line up in being the game du jour while 2012 Tumble was at its peak and Transist was having this new round of visibility. You have to partly bring your own structure to it. That is a much more succinct way of saying it, and I appreciate that. Yeah, it's... And, like, I love that. I think that's great. And also, I need more structure. I can't play Minecraft for the same reason. Like, it's a hard sequence of things for me. Other games impose their order onto you. NVIDIA says, no, you figure out what you want to do here. And, like, it asks some interesting questions about political alignment. It asks some interesting questions about moral quandaries that I think a lot of games kind of wish they could do, and it doesn't even do so in a necessarily super cogent and powerful way. It's just kind of good at what it does. Like, it's one of the few games that I feel manages to present things kind of as they are and use the tone and the setting and the humor and the general character of the game to make its point without having to make its point. Because it does this really great job of, like, getting you to a point where it's like, here's all of this stuff. Here are these terrible factions. And by the nature of its world, it is self-parodying. Like, you literally, when you're winding up near the outskirts of a particular town, you find a guy who is running away from it and going, I won! I won! And then you finally ask him and you find out he won Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. And then you go into the town, it's like, oh wow, this sucks. This is a terrible way to live. And just the framing of it is enough to be like, you got to be really bad at media analysis to not pick up that, like, this is deeply satirical in the best way. Okay. How many plates do we have? We have 3. Okay, so we need to go back, and I think we need to get up to the 3rd floor, which we can do now by just going up our normal path. I haven't been going into the bathrooms because we don't really need them. Let's see. There's a bunch of types of guys. Favorite thing I like to check in on is how long it has been since there was a new post in Something Awful's Outer Worlds thread versus how recently the latest post in the Five Nights at Vegas thread is. I don't know why my brain went there. Shit. Okay, we have a lighter. I have blitzed through this so well that I have missed what we need to do. I think we actually missed a plate. Where all have we not gone? We can't go to the east half of the 1st floor. Five Nights at Vegas. That's what it is for me now, thanks. You're welcome. You know, I like to satisfy. God, where did I miss it? Oh my goodness. I'm starting to be bad at video games. So, we went... Am I damning myself for not going into the bathrooms? Oh! There we go. I said the thing that turned out was the thing I needed to listen to myself and tell myself I was stupid for. Hell yeah. I like that the OR is only the size of 2 bathrooms, right? Just very competently put together. Okay, so now we're plugging in these plates because no one seems to want to just, like, put a key in a lock. Gotta make it complicated. Key and door puzzle design is always really fun. It's like a basic fundamental component of game design when you are navigating a space where the emphasis of the game is on navigating the space. And it also is the reason why there are so many very silly puzzles in Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Like, what if we just got a little silly and made a game where you had to find the 3 dog heads to plant on the door inside of a rural Louisianan house that weirdly has Shadow Puppet Theater as a puzzle, just so you can unlock a secret door into a hunting lodge room? What if? Okay. I want Tim Rogers' take on these puzzles. I'm still kind of reeling from Boku no Natsuyasumi. So, if he wants to take his time figuring that one out so that I can, like, watch a few things in advance just to kind of, like, chill, I would appreciate that. Disinfecting alcohol, that's great. But at the same time, I also want him to just only do videos like that forever. And I am eagerly awaiting the next time he does it. Well, I am the meat in a deadly nurse sandwich. Yeah. There's a part of me that's like... God, I've talked about Tim Rogers before. And if you're somebody who doesn't like him, that's fine. I think the one guy who likes him even less than you is probably himself. And I don't say that to be mean. His videos are just as much about him and his experiences and the way he involves himself in worlds that... Oh, I think there's a room that we need to go to. In the basement now. And like, so much of those reviews is telling you why he has the emotional reaction he does to different things, rather than necessarily talking about game design. And there's a lot of game design in there, so the fact that, like, one could make the argument that his videos are not... They are autobiographical video game reviews. That's what we're dealing with. And there's something genuinely strange and loving and self-hating about those reviews. Oh, jeez. Ma'ams? Ma'ams. I don't know. There is something really compelling about getting to know a guy so well through those kinds of reviews. I watched his DMC5 review twice yesterday to remember the kitchen sink is the best part of the house. That... God. That is one of his reviews that he worked on back when he worked for Kotaku, which is where a lot of his character, a lot of his taglines, a lot of his catchphrases in those videos came from, because they are more about him than about what he's advertising. And just like that, your mind's wrist is wearing a Rolex. Alright, so now we just drop some disinfectant, some disinfecting alcohol. What is the heaviest hamburger you have ever eaten? I'm not gonna lie, there are times where I'm just like, Tim Rogers, you have no reason to want to do this, but I will pay you money to just narrate parts of my life, or like be my ringtone. Hey Mom, good to see you. Just casually killing nurses. Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's actually distressing how much of that review lives rent-free in my head. It just has that effect, you know? Oh, y'all stop that. Y'all stop the glass breaking. Making me panic. Any goodies? No. Door's jammed. Door's jammed.
What's this?
Then we get the Alessa sequence. We get the key, which is going to allow us... Oh, come on. Give me the key. To go back to the first floor to check out the examination room. Because nothing can ever be easy. There we go. And then we're hightailing it out of here. We're going to make it back to the first floor, and then just casually walk right up to where we need to go. Although, what floor are we on normally? This is just the basement. Okay. We're also going to check our health because I can't be doing... Nope, I'm doing great actually. Screw it. Okay. No fear. This is the storeroom, then this is the stairs. Yes! And luckily, no one is here to attack us, so we can just walk right on in over here. Oh, jeez. Wait, there's a doctor. Hey, Knickerbob. Good to see ya. Then we get to see Lisa Garland. Good evening. Attacks you.
Was I dreaming?
All right. We're still doing good on health, and now we can safely get the hell out of here. Well, quote-unquote safely. We need to head up to the antique store, like our weird vision of Alessa showed us. In the middle of the hospital dungeon, no less. Jiminy. God, so we saw more footage of two games very beloved by their fans in the past couple of days. Silent Hill 2 being remade by Bloober team, and Capcom in-house making Resident Evil 4, which we've seen a lot more information now and is starting to look like a complete game that also is still very, very silly. And boy, the reception could not be more different between the two. I think people are actually excited about Resident Evil 4 just because the remakes have established themselves as very interpretive and transformative things that don't negate the original, and Silent Hill 2 is one of those things that if anybody touches it, a lot of people are going to scream. That's going to be fun. Can't wait for that game to release. Since you usually ask, yes, I want to know what games y'all are playing and how you find them. Been playing a lot of Ni no Kuni 2 today. My kingdom is up and running and coming along nicely. Soon all who will oppose my rule will be crushed. Isn't that the dream in video games? That's the thing about games. You get to follow your most secret and wonderful of dreams. And it's great. Good. No issues whatsoever. Ni no Kuni 2 is like a very good, like, modern yet classically minded JRPG. I think it's a lot of fun as a story.
What's this?
I really enjoy that game. I need to finish it. I need to finish Ni no Kuni 1. I need to continue avoiding the mobile game, which apparently is just a money sink. Yeah, like, there are some remakes coming out that I really just cannot bring myself to care for. Like the Last of Us Part 1 remake, the rumored Horizon Zero Dawn remake or remaster that's coming out, where I'm just kind of like, those games, I could just download the versions onto native
Was
hardware.
that another dream?
Like, it's only been one console generation. Like, why? And then we have these other games that are cult classics that it's been a while since like they've gotten a genuine touch up for any reason. You're like, oh, this is great actually. This is looking really good. Like, I genuinely love the Resident Evil remakes. I love the Final Fantasy VII remake, for many of the exact same reasons. Like, literally the same exact reasons of just being weirdly transformative and a new kind of horny that is separate from the original, but still very much the same vibe. Seems a bit soon. Yeah, it's like, okay, I enjoyed Last of Us. I didn't love part two, but I thought when I first played that game and played it again a couple times later and played Left Behind, I
Cheryl.
I really enjoyed those games. I think they still to this day feel and look fantastic. And the idea of remaking that game when it was already looking about as good as some other like PlayStation 4 games and PlayStation 5 games at times is like, huh. Like, that's weird for you to do that. It feels like a weirdly redundant exercise. Um, and I know that devs have come out saying like, just give it a shot. It's, this is a true labor of love. It's not just a cash grab. But I'm just sitting there like, I still vividly remember the specific discourse about the first game and how buck wild it was and how I don't really need to like delve into it again. I don't it's going to be weird no matter what just because like it was already a very modern game. What more do we need? Maybe when we start getting to the point where I actually don't know what I would need personally to justify certain remakes. Because I look at Silent Hill 2, right? And a lot of people are going, you don't need to remake that game. Just port it. It's fine. And I actually agree. It holds up well from a gameplay perspective. It's fairly easy to get into. It's accessible. The controls are literally fine. I don't think anybody coming to it even now would necessarily have issues in coming to terms with its controls. Resident Evil 4 I feel a little differently about, where like it's good, but a lot of people's memory of how good Resident Evil 4 controls is, I believe, muscle memory. Because going back to it now, taking it with an open mind and looking at what it's actually accomplishing, the game's controls are weird and not intuitive. They're kind of bizarre. And so them remaking it and reimagining it feels like the right move for that specific game. Because like, yeah, it could use with a dust up, you know? It could use a little sanding of the finer details, and with the way the remakes have gone, they could probably make something really good out of it. Like they did with Resident Evil 2's remake. Dusty is running around and screaming. Hell yeah. Zoomies or just bad attitude? That's key. Oh, are you going to make things easy for me? Nope, you are not. Not doing well on health, but I think we can get through this without dying, maybe. That would be nice. We're gonna use up some health, but I really don't want to. But like, when I look at remakes, I view the Silent Hill 2 one as necessary because Konami isn't going to put in the effort to rebuild the game from scratch. Like, as it is with, like, as many of the original files as possible. And so I think a remake fits what they need to make Silent Hill 2 like come back in some form. Gosh, I don't know how I feel. I'm still just unsure how I feel about a Silent Hill 2 remake from Bloober, from Konami. It just, we got Silent Hill F from the When They Cry author, set in 1960s Japan. That seems dope. Maybe it'll just be another Fatal Frame without a camera, but I don't care because that game teased some really cool aesthetics, and I am ready to treat Silent Hill as an anthology of separate stories that don't have to do with the same cult in this game, the way Silent Hill 2 did. I think that's really neat. Oh wait, don't go down that way. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you want a Silent Hill 2 remake? Do you want a Silent Hill 2 remake from Bloober? I'm personally fine with it because it looks like they are sticking to the story and the script pretty darn closely with minimal alterations so far. Masahiro Ito? Is his name, I believe? The creature designer for the Silent Hill series is back on, as is Akira Yamaoka, so it will sound and look right. That'll be great. And a lot of the issues that I have with Bloober are mostly to do with their original works, their writing, their structure. Because I don't have a problem with their gameplay. They do some cool and fun stuff. It's just once it intersects with the narrative, it becomes a problem. So, what if they make a legitimately decent remake? What if they do a good job? What if the medium really was their attempt at showing people they can make Silent Hill? Which I think they failed at once they got to the writing part. But visually, it was a lot of fun. Had some neat ideas. It was pretty enough. It threw mentally ill people under the bus, again, like most horror games these days. Yeah, like I am ready to at least give it enough of a shot that, like, I want it to work. I'm not going to just outright say, no, this is going to be bad, because I think that's a boring way of looking at games at large, I guess? Maybe great for when you're like, I don't need to spend the money and I need whatever excuse I can get to not touch this. To cut down on the number of games I'm playing. Because you know who needs that excuse? Me, this person right here. I need to cut down. I have too many games to play. And I am getting more games. Why the fuck? Why would I do that? Ouch. really hoping I could, like, back away without getting hurt by that. Ouch. Aw, dang. He hits a little harder than I remember. But I think if we just whip out our shotgun and go to town, we should be fine. How many fights are there left in this game? This might be the last one I need to use, like, a weapon for before the final boss. Next to the fight with Sybil, I think. We have enough ammo. Why the hill is silent? Oh god. Silent Hill is largely a name to represent the kind of sleepy town that its fake approach to Americana is meant to evoke. Like, Silent Hill is a stand-in name to communicate to people that this is a weird fixed place in the middle of, like, East Coast or Midwest sleepy suburbia. But it's also... Okay, Mom. I know you're going through a time, so... Absolutely. Thank you for coming by. It's also meant to just evoke the fact that Silent Hill is interpretive. People who enter Silent Hill have a very... As we'll progress through the series, it is a town that is meant to reflect the self. It is silent in that nobody else around you knows that what you're dealing with. You're having a quite literal silent hell. Ooh, that was a good slew of bullets. Oh, and I figured something out. If we stay backing away while he tries... Nonverbal hill, pretty much. It's kind of like, I have no mouth and I must scream, except I'm screaming, but literally no one can even interpret that that's what I'm doing. In space, no one can hear the hill. So yeah, that's what I think. I think it's something that just vibes with the psychological aspect of Silent Hill. Like, it's just a name that sounds good for the kinds of things it pulls off, because one thing that keeps happening is that nobody really knows what reality is within the context of Silent Hill. Once you're in there, you can't trust anything that you see. And as we enter into Silent Hill 2, we'll also get into, like, your experience isn't necessarily going to match what somebody else's experience is. Like, you could both be standing right next to each other and see two completely different things. Which is, for me, where Silent Hill gets really, really good. And one of the reasons why I love Silent Hill 2 specifically, because I think it leans more on that fact than a lot of others. So yeah, that's my interpretation. What did Mothman ever do to you? Spat acid at me, you know? Stung me with its big gooshy butt. And like, I don't have an issue with that specifically. I have an issue with the fact that I did not consent to that. And if I'm going to be stepped on by Big Mommy Mothman, I need it to be, you know, something that I incur upon myself. I just think that's fair, you know? Mothman knows what it did. That was my favorite shirt. Look, Mothman gotta eat. It does need to be a little bit pickier, but Mothman do gotta eat. God, I have been down in these sewers so much. So when do we see Daddy? Sorry, Daddy? Sorry, Daddy? Sorry. Pyramid Head? 2. We see it in 2 and only 2. Especially if, you are the kind of person who believes that Silent Hill ended with 3 or sometime in the middle of 4. And we will be seeing Pyramid Daddy very early on in 2. Okay, I'm getting tired of you roaches. Just scoot that body over. Ooh, I am not doing well, am I? Nope. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna keep hauling ass this way. Oh, cross this. Let's see. Actually, while he's here, we're going to get rid of him. And we're going to pick up some items while we can. Get some... Is that rifle shells? No, shotgun shells. That'll be good for Sybil later. Because we did not end up using any shotgun shells on this life. So I think... Let me double check. Yeah, we have a ton of shotgun shells. That'll be good. The less we end up using by the end, the far easier our lives will be for the final boss. We can hold on to, ooh, you know, if we can hold on to 2 first aid kits by the end, we're solid. That's usually what I try to have when I go in. And if I can have like, I think 12 to 15 rifle bullets, we'll be able to just blast through the final boss with no issues. They only used them in 1 game? That takes some discipline, right? Like, I know if it were me, I would not be able to be that reserved and calm and composed as Konami clearly has been. And Team Silent should be praised. Because they stopped Silent Hill after 4. And they never made another one again. And like that's brassy, you know? No one would have faulted them. They could have even been really good, but you know what? They saw their chance to depart and they did so. God. One of these days I actually do plan on trying out more of the extracurricular Silent Hills. The false prophets. And there are a few of them. Like, there are some that are going to be really funny to try out. Like, Silent Hill Book of Shadows. Hey, AJ, thank you for the sub. Hell yeah. That'll put us a little bit closer to our goal of playing Silent Hill 4. Silent Hill outfit? Yeah. Let's get let's get the spooked one. There we go. Hauling ass. Hauling ass. Getting away from all of these bugs. Oh, damn. Sorry, I didn't mean to be big head mode. Why would you apologize for that? That's perfect. You gotta have an Incubus ref. Why would we not reference the boss of Silent Hill? Oh god, am I already hurting? Yep. Damn. Already out of motions. No more small motions. Motions, other. I'm ran out of motions. We should bring Big Hood mode back. We should put it in Silent Hill 2 remake. Mike, okay. Question. And I don't know how to phrase this because I don't actually have a fixed question in my head. I'm just kind of like I got a vibe going right now and I just need to try and satisfy it, which is why I'm extending this further and further because I need to figure out like what the joke is. Is Big Head mode Pyramid Head just the size of an entire room? Or is Pyramid Head the only being in the entire game that doesn't get a Big Head mode? Because I personally think the funniest response is when Pyramid Head, his head does get bigger, but it clips through the helmet. I think that is Big Head mode, the ideal. Where you just see like the vague, fleshy, upsetting remnants of a cranium popping out and clipping through the helmet. I think that's the ideal. Big Head mode, Pyramid Head turns into Ramiel. Oh gosh. Okay, there we go. Goodbye. Ramiel Head. Okay. Y'all. Y'all so wagons or whatever y'all are. Need to get off my ass. Hop off my junk. I've got a daughter to save. Cheryl? Sorry. Cheryl? Sorry. Cheryl? Sorry. My thought was Big Head mode makes Pyramid Head's head tiny in opposition to everyone else. I also really like that. Like, I think that is very choice. And, I also really like the idea of these global settings, but one character just being contrarian. Who is to say beneath one of the Great Pyramids there is not just a little guy? In fairness, that is pyramids. All pyramids are just a house for a little guy. All right. We still have an hour left, and we are ready to begin the end game. So we need to go down to Annie's bar. And we need to save that jerk Michael Kaufman, who, it is still funny to me, was named after the heads of Trauma Studios. I just think that's great. I think that's really good and a very classy and tasteful thing that they did. Like a little guy operating the rest of the body like a mecha pilot. Oh, that's so good. All right, so we're going to go over here. We have Kaufman key and a receipt. Ooh. Someone on Twitter was like, everyone should download the Silent Hill 2 PC fan patch that makes it work on modern compies and cleans it up a bit before maybe it comes down, so maybe I'll go do that. Ooh, that sounds appealing. I could actually go for something like that. Because, like, the HD collections and the PC release all kind of, well, historically have not gone down well. And, oh, you know what? I need to double check some things real quick because we have a receipt for, I believe, Indian Runner? Yeah, 0473. And if we keep going straight and head straight into the block adjacent to this, we'll be able to run right into it. Now, Monkey is going to let me do this. He's going to be totally cool about it. There we go. Monkey and dog. So now that we're actually kind of nearing the end of this game, I am realizing how much I adore Silent Hill 1 specifically. One of the things that always got me about this game is how well I have been, like, kind of going crazy for this game. Like, it's one of my most replayed horror games. 0886. Okay. It's locked. I don't know if we have a key. Ah, yes. Like I mentioned before, Silent Hill 2 doesn't necessarily need a remake so much as it needs to be continually brought back so that people can play it. It's a really good game. But even Silent Hill 1 works surprisingly well considering it's old as balls and was like an effort from a studio that had failed at everything up to that point. Like, not a joke. I've talked about this before, but like, Silent Hill 1 was made by a team that Konami largely just didn't have any confidence in. And they just tasked them with making a game with Western appeal and knew that it wasn't going to be a big budget thing. Belly flops into the stream. Hey, Harry, can I have some of those drugs? And so, like, and so they knew it wasn't going to be popular. Hi, Cat. I hope you're doing well. And they just decided, screw it, we'll just make whatever we want, and we'll focus on making it something really good and meaningful and artistic, instead of trying to make something that is, like, guaranteed to sell gangbusters, because who knows, right? Like, what if... What if? And it became a cult classic, because they were given the ability to just make something that mattered to them, that they felt would work for what they wanted to express. And they continued to make really interesting games for at least a fair while. And the creator has gone on to like start up his own studio and is working on a new horror game. And everybody has a right to be really excited about that. And it's like, gosh, this is what happens when you just give creators the opportunity to make things instead of trying to have them basically hit a checklist. You can make some good art from a checklist. You can do so. There have been some fantastic games that were publisher mandated. And in fact, some games were really good because they were almost entirely publisher mandated and they were made out of spite. I think about Spec Ops: The Line, which is not a great game in and of itself, but what it represents in the field of games is so fucking fascinating that I sometimes have a hard time believing it exists. Let's see. I'm doing this for no real reason other than because I can. There we are. That's weird. This is wiped away just around the gas tank. Come on, give me the shotgun shells. Spec Ops or SPOPs. I've talked about Spec Ops: The Line here before and about like how it was made, so I'm not gonna reiterate on that. But like I do genuinely love what that game tried to say and tried to do. And one day we'll play it. One day. Okay, so now we need to hit apartment 3, which is Houseman's. We have everything we need to get the key out of here, including, let's see. Ooh, health. The more the better. We'll probably get through nowhere pretty, like, fairly quickly, so it's not going to be too bad. All right, and then we're going to use the magnet to pick up this guy. On the subject of old games, I finally got Splinter Cell Chaos Theory because I've been listening to the soundtrack forever, and wow, games sure have been clunky. Yeah, and that's one of the ones that people really like from that series too. Splinter Cell was always like very clunky for me. It has this very specific brand of Western design that was really popular for the time, where if you wanted to make something that was like a little bit simulatory, it meant more buttons for more tasks all the time, forever. And like, man. I've played through all the first game, all of Chaos Theory, I think. Not all of Pandora Tomorrow. And of course, once I got to Double Agent, I was like, they made 2 different games. I'm not playing Double Agent twice when it's 2 different games telling the exact same story. I don't need to do that. Okay, so I believe we set this up. So now we are good. We can just go and finish the game. We have done everything we need to do to get this started. That is the vibe completely. Yeah, like Splinter Cell feels like, even though it was like this big Xbox thing, it was the reason why, you know, it was one of the ways in which Xbox could tout how superior it was compared to the PS2 and the GameCube. Even though it was also a multi-platform title, it was just like, it was one of those games like a whole bunch of other games that were not that good on their own, but were very clearly better on Xbox. Where it feels like a game made for and by people who think PC games are just inherently better. It doesn't seem like it needs to be as granular as it is, but I suppose once the levels open up, I will want the tools. Yeah, pretty much. Those games are largely flexible and open-ended the way they are, especially Chaos Theory, because they have this sort of like... At the end of the day, Splinter Cell is slightly more complicated Hitman, and very much less funny Hitman. Just without all the disguises. That wouldn't happen until much later. And even then, not in such an expanded capacity. And I feel like even Hitman at its worst, and by that I mean the very first game, didn't quite get as granular as Splinter Cell. And I could be wrong on that one. That might be just like a gut statement from me that like doesn't necessarily reflect the reality of the game. But it's a flight sim for controlling one guy, right? Banger tracks, yeah. Splinter Cell has like some really compelling music. But like, I'm kind of glad that games like that exist solely because we have learned how to make these really complex games with really intuitive and novel approaches to controls and minimal UI that achieves the same level of complexity with a much narrower field of like, or much narrower scope of expectations on the player to understand what every single button does. If there's one thing I would love is if more old PC games that are these like cult classics get remakes that specifically just go, you know what? This is too many fucking buttons, and I bet you we can figure out how to make this intuitive and fun for people who haven't grown up expecting to wield 100-page manuals. I would be into that. I would think that that is a great way to think about how to make games in a way that doesn't suck for people who just want to use a controller. And like, full disclosure, there are a lot of PC games I genuinely enjoy, including ones that are overly complicated. It's just sometimes the overly complicated part is the reason I don't finish them. And it's less the small brain thing and more the fact that like I have a lot of trouble thinking about what all I can do when I can't remember how to do half the things I'm capable of. It feels like I'm playing a piece of history, which is why I want to persevere. Yeah. It's like, it was necessary for games to be like that. And like, full disclosure, like, the reason why I don't actually harp on this too much is because I think games needed to do that. Grim Fandango Remaster did that for me. Yeah, the remasters for a lot of those games have been fantastic. Like all of the like Tales from Monkey Island and like old Tim Schafer and Ron Gilbert stuff that's been coming back in some way, shape, or form, like, worked really well just by simplifying some things. You don't lose the complexity, you just lose the number of inputs you're expected to hit. Sometimes that can flip into the opposite direction where you have something like Horizon, which those are games I genuinely enjoy, but have a lot of trouble with because, holy cow, they are trying to shove in complexity with just a controller, and it doesn't work for me personally. First game is fine, but like that second game, Forbidden West, really cool story, great visuals, looks fantastic. It has some problematic elements in its visual design that people have talked about. That's not my lane, but like, you know, for me, it's like I don't need to get into that. But for like the stuff that actually pulls off, it's like really great. And then you get to the controls and you're like, wow, I hate this. Thanks. They needed to hit the quap wall before being like, yeah, no, maybe just contextual functions is fine. Right, because I think Hitman has only gotten better over the years, because they have learned, like, they hit the point in Hitman where they legitimately did get too streamlined. It rubber banded into the opposite direction, and then figured out this really nice medium, like with the current trilogy that is ongoing. I feel like they nailed the balance really well, where you have a lot of functions, most of them contextual, that make the game feel fun to play and feel intuitive to play, most importantly. That's a hard thing to pull off. And for those of you who haven't played the newer Hitman games, do so. They're fantastic. Even at their worst, they are really fun. Um, and I am absolutely willing to say that with my whole chest. They are great. Um, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here because I know Lindsay is also a fan of Hitman for very good reason. I have a lot of friends who are deep into Hitman for plenty of good reasons. AK Fido on Twitter is a friend of mine who has talked endlessly about this, and coincidentally, Fallout New Vegas. Great, smart individual. Great taste. Oh, there's violence behind me. Oh well. I was pitching it to a coworker I'm getting to know who's really into murder mysteries, and I told her, but what if you were the murder and the mystery? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I want to talk about one of my favorite levels in the first of the rebooted Hitman games. And it's the one that takes place in the Midwest where you're dealing with where you're in like a Colorado compound, I believe. Now, this one isn't the one that gets talked about very much, but it's the first mission that has you dealing with more than two targets. And the amount of flexibility in that mission is gargantuan. It is such it is so fun that and so tense and so fucking it's just really good, and it's very emblematic of why I think Hitman works as a series, because you don't actually press that many buttons, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but you just don't actually do much that is all that wild. Damn it. Right. This girl gives us a one-shot kill. Slapstick deaths me left and right. Yeah. You that mission, yeah, you just added a point that I didn't even think about. That is also one of the funniest missions. Not even on accident, but it's not a comedy mission. It's just one of those things that games do particularly well where you're like, "Oh yeah, this is dumb and hilarious." Damn it. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and use a shotgun for this, because while the light blaster is good, it's got terrible damage, and we need to push her into a different phase as quickly as possible. So we're gonna hop on over. Damn it. I keep forgetting she will fire twice. I hate that. I hate that so much. It was one of the few boss fights where you can just be one hit killed. It's like, You have a giant moth, a giant maggot, a big vagina dentata face, goopy guy, literal Satan. But the thing that will kill you is a cop with a gun. Which, in and of itself, peak comedy. Damn it. So yeah, play the Hitman reboots. I know there was controversy about Hitman 3 winding up on Steam and not being discounted. That's... I have no opinion on that. But I do have an opinion on them being really fun games. And people say old video games weren't political. God. Now there's a subject that I could talk about for way too long. Hey, thanks for coming, Lindsay. Oh, did that kill me? No. Okay. Thank you for coming along. I'll check the messages you sent on Discord here in a bit. And you know I will be responding in full, so don't worry. Dang it. Oh, so I am actually surviving these hits somehow. Nope. She is behind a horse. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to see if I can get... where are you? Where are you? I can't see you because the camera is flipping around. Let's run. Get behind the horse. There we go. So that's Sybil gone. The cop is dead. And now we enter nowhere. Ooh, boy. So then we see Lisa. She tells us a little bit about the fact that this place is going frickin' nuts. No one knows what's going on. Oh, and we should pull out our Hyper Blaster. Alright, so here we go. We are clocking in on the finale. So, let's get this started. Going to first do our little over-the-shoulder perspective into the main area of nowhere. As we exit the elevator, we get our main hallway and our primary means of saving in this area. We've done this. This is our 4th time doing this now. Let's see, grab that. Grab this. Do some murder. Go down the stairs. and go through this room. This will give us the pliers and the screwdriver. I kind of love that this place is built so much after the hospital and includes so many other regions of the game. You said meow because I won't lay on the couch, so I pick you up for cuddles, and you immediately start trying to eat my glasses. Yeah, that sounds about right. Shooting through walls. There we go. Run over here. And carefully stand in front, use the pliers, get the key. Grab that. We flip ourselves around. And we try to remember which door is the Ophiel door. That's the Phaleg. And that's the Ophiel. Okay. I think we go in. Come on. You can do it. Almost. Ah, there we go. A little bit of revitalization would be good for a remake of this game. Oh god, what would a remake of the first Silent Hill look like? I don't think I want it. I think it would be great. And no, Shattered Memories doesn't count. Oh, actually, you know what? We're getting closer to Silent Hill 3, which is a sequel to this game. Which means I can start talking about what Silent Hill Shattered Memories is. Shattered Memories is a Western reinterpretation, a transformative reinterpretation of the very first game. Wherein... Oh god, it's so hard to talk about without, like, without spoiling its main gimmick. But it is a game that I think makes overt something that I have always gathered was a factor in the Silent Hill games, especially 2, where every ending and no ending is canon. So much about what makes certain Silent Hill games work is understanding how you deal with the world around you, how you deal with the visions of the world as you see it. Right, I said I was going to view this one again because I really love the way this CG works. It's quietly horrifying, it's unsettling, and I don't want to see a remake of this. It's kind of almost as if once Lisa starts accepting the fact that
Lisa?
she may already be dead, that she is not a real person at this point. And so her body is kind of catching up to this revelation, and she just starts crumbling. It is, I think, an incredibly compelling sequence, and I adore it maybe a little more than I should. I just think she's like a fantastic execution of a simple concept. And I love the idea that, like, once she perceives the truth, she falls apart. Which, again, like, really cool and terrifying. At least you never wound up a sexy nurse in post-SH2 sequels, God. If I recall, a part of Shattered Memories was more focused on your character mindset and how that can affect your recollection of events, right? Yes. So, um, God. Do I have what I need for this? Yes, I do. I accidentally left this room. I didn't need to. So, the game advertised itself as responding to the player. That the world will change based on their decisions and how they interact with the world. And they took a very kind of slipshod, rough, and interesting approach to this that I think a lot of people now look at as being kind of like a bit of a cheap gimmick. But I think works really well in its favor just for its time, where it would factor in the posters that you spend time looking at. It would factor in how the interstitial chapters, which are therapy sessions, play out, and the things you do there reflect how the game kind of shapes itself. And while a lot of it is ham-fisted, I think most of it does a really good job of tapping into, in an overt way, more so than other Silent Hills, tapping into how to put it? Tapping into the fact that Silent Hill isn't something that just happens to you. How you feel matters just as much. How you deal with the revelations that you've found yourself, like, coming across. How you deal with regret and guilt and shame, which, hey, Silent Hill 2, it's coming, can affect how the world responds to you. That's fucking cool. And it is a great component of horror that these games often, if not always, does really well. Alright, so we've got the Ring of Contract, which we definitely needed. There we go. I believe there's another one down there. Okay. So one of these days we'll end up playing it, but it's also like some of the Western Silent Hills, especially Silent Hill Origins, which is a Western-made prequel to Silent Hill 1 specifically, which is, to me, kind of wild to think about. And Silent Hill Shattered Memories are really expensive on platforms that are a lot easier for me to stream. Like, I can run a PS2 game with no issues. I cannot run a Wii and PSP game with no issues. Let's see. There should be a door at the end of the hall that we need to get to. Yes. Wow! Oh god, one of the announcements from the Silent Hill stream was Christoph Gans being able to make a sequel to his Silent Hill movie. And I know there are people out there who are just like, no! But I'm also like, yes! Because a lot of what made that movie not work had more to do with not keeping some secrets close to its chest. Because I think it was a good movie that had its flaws. I do not think it was a movie that deserved some of the hate it got. And I think if... I think if he just gets to make the movie he wants, we'll get something good out of it. Because I think there was a lot there that he did a really good job in going like, yeah, you know what? Silent Hill is this specific thing. It is, for the most part, bespoke unto itself. And you can put in all the references to other things that you want, but that does not mean that you're going to have a Silent Hill. Now, he did put in, like, Pyramid Head and stuff, like... But I think he captured a lot of the spirit of Silent Hill in a really interesting way that may not have been flawless, but it gave me one of my favorite endings to a horror film in a while. Of just being like, yeah, this person may be fucked forever. Trapped, unable to escape, in a space that I have already spoiled some of it, so it's just so good. I would love to see someone playing with the dramatic irony between those who've played the game and know the twists and those who haven't. That would be good. Oh wait, we don't need to use an item. We can just go in and start pushing buttons. Love to push buttons. God, I have done this so much. And we run forward, grab something on a chair, I believe. Yup, a key, I think. Yeah, birdcage key. That'll be back in the main hallway, I believe. Then we go over here. And then... extra healing item, which, yes, we still haven't used any of our first aid kits this whole playthrough, I think. Somebody will surely correct me if I'm wrong, but we're doing well. I believe we can go to floor 2 for our main hallway. Let's see. Underrated element of survival horror. Item must rotate in 3 dimensions. Yeah, I really do love that gimmick. Okay, now we're not quite in our main hallway yet. I believe now we're here. Nope, we are not. No, it's right over here. Yes! We can go into here to save, which we are going to do because we are making good time, and I don't want to create a problem that extends this playthrough any longer than is absolutely necessary. So we're going to go in here. Ah, okay. We're not going to go in here. We are going to go away. We're going to go in here instead. Jesus Christ. I forgot about how nasty that room gets. Key of Phalanx. And now we can go into the Phalanx room. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I love... There is something about these item menus that just hit right, you know? It's really gratifying. Like, it's something that, like, doesn't really work as well anymore. Or maybe it works just fine and we're just all being obtuse. Dagger of Melchior will run away, and then a thing will happen that will not affect us whatsoever. Will not affect us in any way whatsoever. Okay, second door on the left wall. Get off of me. I don't need you. I don't like you. I'm sure I'd like you if I got to know you, but I don't want to get to know you. I have things to do. Then we're back in here where we pick up an ink. And for those of you who have been paying attention to these playthroughs, we are literally one item away from finishing. Okay. Immediately run across. Eat the jelly beans. God, I have to admit, like, one of the reasons why that sequence is so funny of him just trying to tear it open and everything falling everywhere is that enough of us have done it that is such, like, a relatable feeling of just like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like, for everything that Harry goes through in this game, that's the one that really feels like a tipping point where you're just like, what the fuck else is going to happen today? And as somebody who has those moments a lot, um, like, it's weirdly gratifying to see somebody having this, like, stupid, tiny little, um, like, moment of things just not working out. It's such a silly, tiny thing that I think works really well. It's such a human touch. Okay, now I need to remember where I go to get the key off the wall. That ain't it. Shoot. Oh God. Okay. We are going to make sure we stay on top of our health. Adjust this a little bit because, oh boy. I'm just gonna shoot all these guys who are probably just trying to get along in life. But fuck them, because I got shit to do. There we go. And we're going to take this key, the key of Eritron. We're going to go back to the Phalanx room. Ow. Oh no. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I think I have one last... No? Okay, this is fine. We can do the Phalanx door. We can get through here. Anyone else want to fight? All right. Then we see Alessa's room, or rather her hospital room. We run over and we grab... come on. The disc of Ouroboros. We run across. And we have officially made it to the actual proper end game. Oh. So now we can relax. We have everything we need to get through the end of this very quickly. So while we start up the last ending for this finale of Silent Hill 1. Um, I know this is a weird one just because like so much of it is just sitting there skipping cutscenes and getting to the end. But I am so glad I got the opportunity to play this. I'm so glad that I decided this year we were just gonna be in Silent Hill. Um, I am genuinely pleased that we got to play through all 5 endings. This is a personal goal that I've had for a long time now of being able to get through hard mode, get through all of these different endings, and have, for the first time in my life as a Silent Hill fan, a completed Silent Hill 1 save. And I don't think I would have done that if it weren't for the fact that I was streaming it and y'all were hanging out with me. So thank you. This is It's one of my favorite games, and I have been able to stream a lot of my favorite games over the past year or so.
I don't want to.
Try out a bunch of really neat stuff.
Do
So
what
like
Mommy tells you now.
this end is like weirdly heartwarming
Just
for me.
want you to lend me a teeny bit of your power. That's all. No. I don't want to do it.
I'm glad.
It will make
This chat has been a lot of fun. Love a game we can sit, chat, and analyze about. It's I
Oh, but Mommy, I just want to be with you.
There is a part of me that wants to just make this my full-time job just because this
two
is
of
exactly
us.
what I want to do
Please
in my free time.
understand. Oh, yes.
And
I see.
y'all make that so
Maybe
enticing.
Mommy has been wrong. Mommy! Why didn't I see this before? There's no reason to wait. Herein lies the mother's womb, containing the power to create life. I could have done it all myself. Mommy?
All right. We're going to let everything play out for the good ending. How good is it? Who knows?
Well, well, well. To think you'd make it this far.
Where's Cheryl? What have you done to her?
What are you talking about? You've seen her many times restored to her former self.
I'm in no mood for jokes.
Don't you see? She's right there.
That's absurd.
You are the only one who thinks so.
Why? Why are you doing this?
It's
For
been
the vine.
7 years. For the 7 years since that terrible day, Alessa has been kept alive, suffering a fate worse than death. Alessa has been trapped in an endless nightmare from which she never awakens. He has been nurtured by that nightmare, waiting for the day to be born. That day has finally come. The time is nigh. Everyone will be released from pain and suffering. Our salvation is at hand. This is the day of reckoning, when all our sorrows will be washed away. When we return to the true paradise, my daughter will be the mother of God.
Had it up to here with your monkey shines, Granny. Hand over the kid and no one gets hurt. The time is nay. Unleash the horses. Alright, so... here comes the incubator. That is her official name. This is the Ascended Alessa, combined with Cheryl. Recombined with Cheryl.
Quit screwing around.
Yep.
Return things to how they were before.
Kaufman!
The bad ending boss, this
Did I ask for this?
robed figure. Incubator.
Nobody
I hardly
uses
know
it.
her. Thank you, thank you.
Won't get away with this.
You're
I do
help
love
yourself. We don't need you.
that Kaufman comes in and just shoots Dahlia
By coming
instead of
here.
her only getting torched alive by her own
Ah,
creation.
you're getting cocky. Bet you can't see this.
And now the Aglaophatus. I think that's what it's called. I have no idea.
I got rid of that.
All I had to do was plant it somewhere for you to find. You all, well, it kept you busy. Ha! You're easy. And there's more where this came from.
Stop it!
And then, splish. Wait, need to time that better. Here we go, here we go, here we go. What you say? Splish! And so the incubator releases the god.
Huh? What the?
Kaboom! God, I want to play Wind Waker again. Oh, I love the audio design in this game. Anyway, from the incubator, we now face the incubus. So now we're just going to fire like crazy. We managed to stop it right as we got hit, which means we can now reload, take a heal, and we are not going to have any damage for the rest of this lightning blast. We'll probably have to do it again. Damn it. Sometimes we do get bad luck. Ooh. They had some pretty cool songs for OC playlists back in the day. Ooh. I mean, listen, there's a reason why today's wisdom words is what it is. God, I wish I got into making OC playlists. I only ever did it once for a D&D character. And that was because like everybody at the table was doing it as well, which was a lot of fun. Wait. We're going to reload. I'm going to double check to make sure that we're at good health. Yeah. Going to do it again. Reload. Take a health kit. He has a little bit more HP than Incubator. And there we go. That's the end. With 10 minutes to spare. Ugh. Oh god. I love the aesthetic of PS1 horror so much.
Alessa, in her last-ditch effort, gifts Harry a baby. In a last-ditch effort to make sure that some part of her manages to survive and gets a chance to actually live a life separate from all this. She gives Harry the means to escape and try again. Because at the end of the day, Alessa was not the bad guy in any capacity. She was a tool being utilized by Dahlia Gillespie. And she so desperately wanted to push back against that. So even though Kaufman did help us, technically, by making things worse, he gets to go away. So Lisa gets her good end. And by this point in the story, Harry is given a second chance with his grief. He may have lost his daughter, his adoptive daughter, but knowing how so many forces were beyond his control, he is choosing, in this moment, to accept what happened and to take responsibility for the second chance at life. Harry Mason and that baby will return in Silent Hill 3. So glad we get credits with actual music this time. It's been a minute. Kind of nice. Ugh. I adore this game. I think it's so fun. It's such a, like, it's one of those games that once you know how it works, is so easy to just chill and blast your way through. You get to enjoy kind of sifting through the experience. You get to, like, it's nice and tight and compact despite the fact that it technically encompasses a whole small town. The dungeons are, like, really nice and simple, but have plenty of, like, clever and interesting puzzles that I think, for the most part, save for a couple of obtuse ones, just feels very good to play. This game still holds up after all these years since its 98 or 99 release. What did I write down? 1999? Yeah. This game made me a horror game fan. And no matter what Konami might do with the franchise, I'm always eager to see if this franchise can get close to what the first three games really captured. There is something about Silent Hill at its best that no other franchise has ever been able to touch. And that's not to say Silent Hill is better than any other horror franchise. But it scratches such a specific itch that when somebody understands what makes this franchise work, nothing comes close. There are plenty of games that do everything that Silent Hill does on, like, its individual components better, but nothing feels like a good Silent Hill. So, thank you all for coming. We're gonna let this blooper reel play out in full. It's a rather texture-stretched loaf of bread. It's a good baby. Oh yeah, my car crashed. How do I get home? Ugh. I love how we barely ever see this version of Alessa throughout the whole story. Give Grandma a kiss. I want every game to have an outtakes reel. Remember when Pixar used to do... Whoa. Remember when Pixar used to do fake outcut reels? Why did I move? Let's fix that. There we go. I'm back. Like, they need to go back to that. They really need to go back to that. Gosh, look at all that. We got everything. 5 endings. We got every single ending in the game. We, oh. Around the time director of D was trying to push the idea of digital actors. I have D. I should actually play that in D too. I need to put that in the list. I know nothing about how that game plays. I know it's short. And one of these days, I'll get to it. Which would be a really clever way to sell asset reuse. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. This was a ton of fun. I already mentioned how important for me this game is. And I think once we start up Silent Hill 2, I'm going to get even more gaga about everything. Because gosh, that is a game I really enjoy. So, let's go over the house cleaning. VODs are available for free, 60 days after initial airing, no following, no subscribing required. There are follower and subscriber exclusive emotes, and anytime we get up to more sub points, I'm going to make more. I'm still trying to get around to finishing up the animated ones, which I think are going to be a lot of fun. And we have a few banked that once we get enough sub points, we're good. Speaking of sub points, if we hit 40 sub points, we're currently at 20. It goes down if we don't keep getting subscription re-ups. If we hit 40, by the time we hit our last ending of Silent Hill 3, we are playing all of Silent Hill 4. Bear that in mind. It's going to be dope. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you all for coming. I've been Robin at Andrewjack Without a C, and will continue to be so for the foreseeable future. Get hydrated, get vaccinated, get masked up, be good, be safe, be awesome, and be gone. Bye.